What up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the SVT podcast. I am your host tonight. My name is Tyler. I am welcomed by my two gentlemen and scholars here, Sam and Vince. How
How's
are you guys
it going?
doing tonight?
Hey, what's up, guys?
So last week, we ended on two cliffhangers, and one of them was a teaser by your boy, Sam, over here. He had great news for you guys this week. I just want to chime in and let him go ahead and introduce his great news.
It is great news. And that was a hell of a setup and introduction, my friend.
A plus stuff, bud.
You're in practice.
This is what, week 2 or 3 in a row of I get to lead teasers and pick it up where we left off. I feel like this is going to develop into a bit where it's like last week on SVT.
Yeah. Previously, it's a soap opera. It's like the first minute of a.
Exactly.
It's just the tip, Sam.
So, last week we talked about some exciting news, and the exciting news is we're expanding the team. We're adding our very good friend Tim Morrell. He was developing some other podcasts and he's listens to us, and we're going to be merging teams a little bit. He's going to become a member of our sports stuff, and there's going to be more stuff down the line to introduce. So there's future teasers. I don't know when we're going to announce them, but there's future stuff on the way. But Tim, he's going to help us out with the production. He's going to help us out with the producing. He's going to hop on the mic every now and then. So Tim, welcome. Thank you for doing this. Welcome to the podcast, man.
Oh man, thank you for having me. And I've never been mentioned as a teaser before. So this is actually like quite historic for me. I love being a teaser.
All right.
Better than being the TZ, right?
The TZ, yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for bringing me on. This is going to be great. I can't wait to see what we're going to do. So yeah, this is awesome.
Now I know that you're going to be a big crucial part of behind the scenes stuff for us, and I appreciate and applaud that, and thank you so much for that. As far as sports go, where are we at on like if I tell you baseball, NFL, any of those sports, let's do this. Let's do NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB. And those 4 categories, what is the most you know to the least you know?
I love the sports ball. No.
He loves all sports balls.
Well, okay. So growing up, I was very much into baseball. I wanted to be a baseball player before I ended up becoming a filmmaker. So yeah, I was very much invested in baseball. So if anything, that's the one I'm gonna that I know the most about. But I have friends who are really into like basketball and to football and stuff like that. So I mean, it's like I'm not oblivious to what these games are about or how they're played or whatever. So
well, a while back we ran an NHL test on Sam and another friend of ours. So you may get thrown through the fire here, just to give you a heads up.
Oh, that's fine.
Ask you some fun pop quiz questions. Yeah, that'd be good.
I am willing to fall on my face. That's fine. That's completely fine by me.
You're also going to be our official judge and referee. So whenever something between us is debate and debacle, I'm just going to have you pick someone. You get to be the
tiebreaker.
Okay, but there better not be any like bets or anything. I don't know. Money.
No, we don't do bets like that. It's usually like, I think last year our fantasy football league we did a movie.
It was movies. Yeah, we did the movies.
Okay. Yeah.
Last place bought the tickets. Second place bought the drinks, and first place got a free beverage and a movie.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I think I remember listening to that episode. That was a lot of fun. So yeah.
Yeah. One of the rules is you got to play fantasy football now. So fire up that.
We got open slots.
Don't worry about it, Tim.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So Tim, again, chime in as you see fit. If I'm annoying, don't chime in at all. Just let me keep being annoying.
just blink a lot. Blink.
Right.
Exactly. No, I'm super excited to have you on board, man. I know that we maybe met at a wedding, maybe we didn't. I have no idea. But yeah, happy to meet you, and we'll grow this relationship together. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Right on.
And
So,
for those who
am I-
can't put the little puzzle pieces together, Tim and I were and Tyler, we were all at Vince's wedding a couple weeks ago. So
Yeah.
So much fun, a beautiful location. Oh man.
that's
Yeah.
great.
I appreciate it, and I certainly paid dearly for it, but it was worth it to see all my friends and throw a big ass party. It was great. Okay.
I'm doing
ball.
mine. I'm doing mine right now, and yeah, there's plenty of time to do your research. You're like, man, I would really love a beer right now.
Totally, man. All right.
Speaking of, there's no easy way to do this. We'll just jump right into it. The 11-time NBA champion, one of the greatest basketball players to ever lace them up, tragically is no longer with us anymore, but lived a great, wonderful life. I think he passed away at 88 years old.
Yeah, Bill Russell, for those of you who are living under a rock, Bill Russell passed away Monday. No, Sunday. It was yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was
yesterday. Yeah.
So, I'm not a big Celtics fan, but I'm a big Bill Russell fan. He also was from San Francisco, or at least, went to go play for SF State. So there's a lot of
USF, not SF State.
You're right. I'm sorry. You're correct. He was not a Gator. He was a Don. So I apologize.
That's right. Put some respect on that name.
My apologies. No, so there is great connections in that sense. So shout out to Bill Russell. Shout out to the Russell family. I have some great memories of when he was older and like what he used to do, because I can tell you right now, clearly was not alive when Bill Russell was playing. I don't know about you guys, but
no, I mean, obviously, he was playing long before any of us were born. So we know him as a basketball player through highlights, but we also know him as sort of the activist as well, and fighting for equality on many fronts over the years, and always being very gracious with everybody who's had something to say about Bill Russell. Has said what a wonderful guy he was, and so he's somebody that the basketball world and the world in general is going to miss.
Well
this
said, man.
This is where Sam tells us all of his highlights.
No, yeah, I got him on play-by-play right now, like
just deep diving into like games that took place in 1961. Yeah.
I mean, I only know who he is through the highlights and the historical ESPN classic stuff. I know him more as the humanitarian type of person. It's just a sad day in sports and humanity, so RIP.
One of my favorite memories, more recent, I think it was like 2017 when he won the award at the ESPYs for just a humanitarian award for him. Charles Barkley, Chuck is introducing him to the award, and they pan over to Bill Russell and he flips them off on like live TV, like just no awareness of what's going on. Just fuck you, Charles Barkley. Like that was his mentality. He gets on stage, right? And Yao Ming and Shaq and Hakeem Olajuwon, they're all up there, right? And Bill Russell points at every single one of them and he goes, "I'd kick all your asses." So one of my greatest memories of Bill Russell was him accepting that award and just being the badass that he was.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well said. All right.
Where you want to go? You want to go?
I think
sad,
we need to.
You want to go up?
You know what? No, let's stay sad for now. Let's stay sad. Let's switch gears to a different sport, football. And unfortunately, the Deshaun Watson saga is wrapping up at this point. He got what I'm describing as a joke of a suspension, and other people have said far worse things about it. He ends up getting 6 games. And if you do the math, that's about 5 women per game, basically, for alleged assaults. So
We're evaluating
Damn.
us.
yeah,
So
Viz.
this is
yeah,
like
it's bad. It's bad.
Tiger Woods, who was one girl away from having a golf course of 18 girls.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, he's like right around 30. It might have been 29. I don't have the exact number. How many women accused him of being a bad man? So when you break it down, though, it's bad. It's really bad. And 6 games. That's it.
I have one question though. I know he served 17. He's doing 6 again, so it's like what, 24 games or something like that, 23 games, something like that. And my question to you is this: how come Ridley got a year suspension for gambling, not even on his own team, but Deshaun Watson only gets 6?
Well, Ridley was $1,500, like on a parlay or something real stupid like that, right? And so that gets a full year suspension. Deshaun Watson sat out the entire season last year, but still got paid. It wasn't a suspension for him. So I mean, so really, he's only going to lose 6 game checks, and that's how we, count a suspension. Otherwise, he's just collecting money from the Texans last year. This year, he'll be not collecting for 6 games. But they structured that contract so that way, he would miss hardly any of that money. Like they guaranteed him like $230 million or something like that. And I think he's going to miss out on like $4 million. Like even if that, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head.
He's going to Big Ben it. Big Ben got 4 games and he appealed and only got 2. So I imagine he's probably going to do the same thing and appeal it.
Actually, if there's an appeal coming, it's actually going to be from the NFL, because the way this suspension actually worked, it was a judge,
that's right,
so-called impartial judge,
that's right,
that looked at the facts of the case and determined, yes, Deshaun Watson did bad things, and now let's suspend him for 6 games because that's precedent. But what he did was unprecedented, like at least in terms of 30 accusers, 30.
Yeah.
And but let's make and then you look at the Browns schedule. They had the easiest schedule in the first half of the year, so these first 6 games they're missing, like it's a super easy schedule for their backup or whoever ends up being the quarterback for these first 6 games before Deshaun Watson, who is a talented quarterback, but also handsy when he gets massages from massage parlors. And it's gross. It's disgusting. And I don't know how this wasn't at least a year-long suspension. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Do you think Robert Kraft had that situation had an effect on the Deshaun Watson ruling?
Oh, I have to believe so. I mean, all of these similar type cases, Robert Kraft or Daniel Snyder just being a prick in general, and encouraging all that bad shit happening in Washington. He's just like all of that stuff happening before, even Ben Roethlisberger, or like Ezekiel Elliott got 6 games for his stuff too. Yep. And so I mean,
Ray Rice
Rice got a ban, like a life ban.
Well, yeah, I mean, he initially got, what was it, 1 game, 2 games, and then like the outrage was so intense that the NFL came back and said, no, we got to actually do this. We got to suspend him more for the rest of the year or whatever.
And I'm not defending Watson or anything, but in Ray Rice's situation, there was clearly evidence, like video evidence proving this. So it was
yeah,
hard to disprove it.
It's the difference between doing your bad things in an elevator where there's a camera and in a private spa where there's no cameras. It's like, obviously I wouldn't want to be in a massage parlor like with a camera there. Just you're supposed to be a relaxing type area, so obviously it's going to be sort of a he said she said thing. But when you got 30 accusers and they're all telling a similar story about how we're committing like sexual assaults, that's what they were. I mean, it wasn't straight up rapes, but it was like they were talking about like he was like groping and ejaculating and really gross stuff like that. I can't believe I just said that word. It's on the yeah. So yeah, this is not good at all. So the NFL is probably gonna appeal, I would think they have 2 more days to do it. So, and if they don't appeal, he'll just take his 6 games and be thankful it's not more. If they do appeal, that might push the timeline back. That might push the suspension back until next year. And that's where like he gets the real money is happening for him, is like the second year of this contract. So maybe if the NFL does, appeal and it takes, several months to adjudicate that appeal, that might be how the suspension works. He gets a full year, but it's next year and he plays the entire year this year. I don't know. And either way, it's just gross. I'm disgusted.
It's absolutely disgusting that the NFL, like, they're just like, like how it's not in the rule book. Like, what happens between a man and a woman, we weren't there. We don't know the facts. Like, it's just so fucking stupid that the NFL didn't suspend this guy for not just for one season, to get him out of here.
Yeah.
Get these people out of here. It doesn't matter how talented you are. This is a disgusting debate. This is a disgusting, like, this shouldn't even be talked about on sports radio, or, I mean, this is news radio. This is being talked about in other radio stations in communities. Like, this is gross. It's disappointing. Unfortunately, it's one of the things where it sucks, dude. The NFL is not going to lose any money over it, and they know that. And we're kind of, as soon as we're done with this bit, or next week, 2 weeks. I mean, the Raiders play a game on Thursday. We're gonna, the NFL is gonna have viewers. You're gonna watch the 49ers. You're going to watch the Eagles. I'm going to watch the Raiders. I mean, they're not going to lose a dime. So we can shout at the NFL and say this and say that, but the NFL is going to NFL, and that's like the sad thing that we're at, where, the NFL should boot these guys. You're going to make the money with or without these guys. So just get rid of them. At least have good publicity that you're not going to tolerate this BS, because college students are watching this, high school students are watching this, and there's going to be a lot of young people that are just, well, I could still do this. I'm only going to lose 6 games when I get to the NFL, and now you got, the college deals where they can make money. What happens when this is going to happen in college? College might suspend them, what, a half a year? It's bad precedent to me all the way around, because I don't trust the NCAA to do the right thing either.
Oh, no. I mean, like, I've seen guys get 1 quarter suspensions or
what happened to
all
the people for the Penn State thing? Like, other than Sandusky, like, who else is in prison? Because all of those MFs should be in prison that knew what was going on and said nothing.
Yeah.
Well, where is the incentive for good behavior? It's like, like Vince was saying, it's like they got these contracts, and it's like, oh yeah, I can do whatever I want, because even if I get in trouble, I still get paid. I still get to play,
Exactly.
Maybe I don't play as many games as I want to, but it's like, I'm still getting the money I was promised in my contract. And, that's, so it's like, where's the incentive for good behavior?
It's a good question. I mean, I feel like maybe there should be a contract clause of a bonus, like, hey, if you don't get arrested or deal with anything with the law, like, we'll give you an extra $1 million on top of that. I did read some report that, like, most NFL players, like 80% of them, as soon as they retire, go broke within like a year, so, no, man, if I was in the NFL, I'd be trying to reap in as much money as I possibly can. So maybe throw that in there. You have nothing to do with the law, like, we'll give you an extra $1 million. It's not like these NFL owners are broke. They can afford, $40, $50 million for the players that are on the team, like a $1 million per.
I also feel like I feel bad for the Cleveland fans, because, if they start winning games, let's say they go 3-3 in these first 6 games, and he comes back, for them to to make the playoffs with adding him, with a weak schedule. They got a talented roster.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
the rest of the world's going to be like, F this team because of that dude.
Yep.
And as a fan, like, if that was on the Raiders, dude, like if Henry Ruggs was playing right now, like, I'd be like, damn, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to see this. I'm not trying to, hate on anybody, but how do you cheer for a guy that's like has all of these accusations? Like, that'd be a tough cheer. That'd be a tough situation for a fan, I think.
I'll tell you, on Twitter, there's been a lot of activity by a lot of Browns fans, and almost all of it is defending Deshaun, because at this point, I don't get it. I'm not a Cleveland, Browns fan.
Geez. Yeah.
I just, it's, I don't understand that mindset. But I mean, I'm me, so I have a heart.
I don't know how you can defend this.
Yeah. Yeah. But the real monster is Calvin Ridley for daring to gamble $1,500.
Right.
How dare he, that son of a bitch? No, I mean,
the
come
NFL
on.
isn't the NFL partnered with DraftKings or FanDuel or something?
Yeah. So it's, I mean, that's the whole thing. I think with the Calvin Ridley part of it is he's fucking with money at this point. At that point, whereas if Deshaun Watson, attacks 30 women. That's not money.
This is acceptable,
them, and that's where the NFL has drawn its line several times. I mean, how many times have like really bad guys? I think about Greg Hardy. You remember him?
Yeah, that piece of shit. Dude was
that
broken on
piece
a
of
bed of guns.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Jerry Jones just this year, last year is he's going through this again.
Yeah, and I'm not looking for choir boys. I just want guys that aren't going to hold guns on people or assault women. That's just have a modicum of decency. I don't need every single player to be out there for the United Way, fundraising for kids with cancer or whatever. Just don't be a monster.
Don't
be a monster.
You heard it. You heard it here first.
To answer the question, it's
fuck cancer kids.
So weird.
The incentive is, I don't know, just holding on to humanity, holding on to decency.
I'm thinking about
that
it now
as an incentive.
I'm thinking about it now, and there shouldn't be an incentive, because you think about it, like outside of maybe basketball, because I feel like basketball has star players and they can lose a lot of money. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, that sport really relies on a singular person, and that singular person can change something, right? Where I feel like NFL, it's the rope, right? Everyone has to carry this thing. One guy can lead it, but everyone needs to tally with the rope, right? But that being said, like NHL, MLB, especially MLB has like a zero tolerance when it comes to domestic violence. Like even if you're a minor leaguer, if they catch you abusing someone, you're out. I mean, look at Trevor Bauer. He signed that fat deal with LA. Hasn't even seen the field because of the whole situation that isn't resolved yet. And it sounds like he's guilty, but we don't know that, right? So like those sports have a zero tolerance. There shouldn't be an incentive for NFL. Just have a zero tolerance. MLB just took Trevor Bauer, one of the best pitchers in baseball, and said goodbye.
Yep.
I mean,
it was a 2-year suspension. Yeah. And at this point, like, they have enough evidence to show that, it's worth a suspension. So they handed it down, and he hasn't pitched since. I think last year was the last time he pitched, and justifiably so. And yeah.
So when has baseball always had that zero tolerance in place, or was this a recent thing?
No.
Okay. I mean, it's been, baseball caved to public pressure. Not like the NFL has. They stuck strong to their morals. Feel the sarcasm in my voice when I'm saying this, people.
Oh, it's dripping with sarcasm.
No, I mean, yeah. So so basically, baseball kind of got their shit together on some things. They're still terrible in other things, but
a lot of things. But I mean, like, if you make enough noise and if you stay away, baseball started to listen. I guess at least on this particular issue, they've started to listen. And baseball, like, I mean,
just colloquially has a lot more like female fans, so they felt that pressure more intensely, whereas the NFL doesn't give a shit. The fans they have, they're not going anywhere for the most part. So,
well,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
and
it was
MLB has, the Giants have a woman on their coaching staff, so you're starting to see like women come up in coaching, in the major leagues, and so you're going to see that more and more often. I think the NBA had was it Becky Hammond?
yeah, before she became
Yeah.
the Vegas
Aces.
Aces head coach, she was on
Which
top staff.
I'm not mad at that because she got a coaching job, like a head coaching job, but I really wanted Becky to like stick it with the NBA, and I wanted her to get a head coaching job there. It may not have happened. She probably saw that it was a better opportunity to get more experience, and maybe she'll come back. But I really wanted her to be in the NBA.
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
other
I mean,
leagues
she
are
still
starting
might.
to expand, the other leagues are starting to integrate women into, roles that they can be in, coaching, front office, Florida Marlins,
Yeah,
or
Miami
Miami Marlins.
Yeah,
they,
Kim Ing.
yeah, so she's a general manager. So you're seeing the changes in the other leagues, but the, NFL, they don't really give a crap about, women. I mean, they do have the female referee now.
Yeah, they got a couple of them here and there, and they're gonna make all of their players wear pink shit in October to pretend that they care about women.
Even though that they charge,
To your point, though, the
Yeah.
Raiders are setting a precedence.
Mhm.
They hired a female president, a vice president, I believe it was, right?
It's the second time they did this.
Yeah,
So
because
again,
you had Amy Trask, the Princess of Darkness, which is a badass name. That's a badass name.
we just need everybody else to jump on board. Why is it that the Raiders, the team that's known to be the bad boy of NFL, why are they the ones setting the precedent? You know what I mean?
What's crazy with, we talked about this before, but in case, Tim doesn't know, but, the Raiders, Al Davis, Fred Biletnikoff, his daughter was a victim of violence, and it, domestic violence. And so Al Davis made it a policy that if you have domestic violence in your background or while you're a Raider, you're like, he got rid of guys. So that was like a zero tolerance out of respect for his, former player and friend, Fred Biletnikoff, between Al Davis. And that's something that Mark Davis, has stated he's committed to. And, we have to say that there's some stuff going on, some accusations in their organization as well. So we don't know all the facts. It's one of those things, like, it sounds like something was going on, but we don't know yet, really.
It's also been quiet about it. I also still feel like it's a disgruntled employee, but I said that about some other accusations, especially like Trevor Bauer, that it turned out to be that I was completely wrong. So I am not going to make a bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want a year-long suspension.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, we got to move on.
All right, so
one quick question: Does Davis have a son?
I don't know
like
anything about his I don't know anything about who's next.
I'm just thinking about like
who's banging him with that haircut.
Oh. Yeah, I know. It's a valid point, I will say this though, like him carrying his father's lineage is pretty impressive. I'm just wondering, is that going to carry on? I don't know if he has a kid. I really don't. But to your point, yeah, I don't know who's banging that Chucky disgusting bowl cut haircut.
Wow, shots fired.
Yeah. It's not Tot sired, I'll tell you that. Oh, I'm on fire today. Okay. All right, you know what? I think we've talked enough about depressing shit. Let's talk just real quickly about some happy shit. Deebo Samuel got paid. Yay! Woo! It's our national nightmare is over. We can stop talking about when's this contract going to get settled. Is he going to get traded? No, I was saying it from the beginning. They're going to pay him. It's just a matter of time, and they finally paid him. And you look at other contracts that have happened this offseason for wide receivers, AJ Brown, excuse me. And
Metcalf.
Who's the other one?
DK
Metcalf just got paid.
DK.
Yeah, Yeah, and even in
McLaurin.
Washington, Terry McLaurin, yeah, he got paid as well. A lot of these contracts look pretty similar, and they all have the same agents, so that's kind of funny how that kind of worked out.
Speaking of that, my boy over in Philadelphia, he came out and said, it's funny how all the guys from the 2019 class got paid the same amount, yet I was the problem in Tennessee.
Right.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a 3-year, $73.5 million extension, and about $58.1 million of it is guaranteed. So DK Metcalf actually is getting $100,000 more guaranteed money, but Devo's contract, like, he can top out a little bit more. So, so it's
well, he's
basically
got running back
even.
incentives, doesn't he?
Yeah,
exactly.
Crazy. Yeah.
So he can make more. Now, question. We haven't hit 50 likes, so I'll give the listeners 2 weeks to achieve this 50 likes. Yeah. Now, if you hit the 50 likes, 10. I will be more than happy to take Debo, or I might be low on the totem pole because I think I won last year, so I'll probably be last. So
it's a new league. We're gonna shuffle up the draft order, so we don't know when it's gonna happen, when you're gonna draft.
Well, if I am the last on the totem pole, all the good ones are going to be gone. So I'm not opposed to Brandon Ayuk either. He's looking pretty beastie. So, if you're going to screw me, at least give me Brandon Ayuk.
I think that's a fair request. Don't ask, Tyler's like, please just don't give me a defense,
I don't need the
Jacksonville Jaguars defense in the first round. Oh.
Yeah, I don't need Sim Kim Yu as my kicker in the first round.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we don't play with kickers. Don't you remember? I got rid of kickers last year.
Right.
Yeah, it's magical. I'm telling you, like, side note, get rid of kickers in your home league, in your home fantasy leagues. I'm telling you, it made the rest of it so much better. Add a second flex. It makes your bench look, you got to work a little bit harder to make your bench good. And it's actually much more fun because you can play players that you give a damn about. Okay.
And then you don't get slapped in the face for like hoarding so many players on your team, like Tony Pham did to Jock Peterson. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of Tommy Pham, he got traded.
Austin.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. Let's talk about your boy. Your boy got paid.
Yeah. Okay. So that was it. I'm excited. I'm happy he's paid. He's in camp now.
Does the quarterback leave before the end of next month? Or before the end of actually that'd be mini camp, huh?
Yeah, they're in training camp right now. So preseason games are starting next week. So I don't know where Jimmy Garoppolo is going to end up getting traded. I don't know if he is going to get traded. They may just end up cutting him and then he'll go sign with Seattle because you can't really you can't trade within your own division. That might be what ends up happening.
But you're gonna be on the hook.
Well, I heard Matt Maiocco. I heard Matt Maiocco was talking about. He was asked if you think why Jimmy G is still on the roster. Is it because they don't want him to be? Because there's been talk that he's going to get cut because they can't really find a trade partner for him. So the option is to cut him. But week 1 they play Seattle, so they're kind of worried that Seattle wants to pick him up because they don't. Their quarterback situation is not looking very good. So
no, like they're like 10 minutes away from giving me a call to play quarterback. So it's really bad up there, man.
Yeah, it's bad when the U.S. tennis Twitter page is making fun of your own quarterback.
Yeah,
I definitely think if Jimmy's on the street, he's going to be walking to Seattle. So
yeah, so that's why I think they're trying to work out something with Houston, maybe because they just have Davis Mills, I think, is their quarterback. Mm-hmm. And then and he's a bit of a scrub, but he showed a couple of flashes last year as a rookie, but I don't think he's the long-term answer.
You couldn't do anything with Miami and get like a 3rd round pick or something out of this? Because
the problem was
the GOAT.
Yeah, no, Jimmy, it was Jimmy's shoulder. I think Miami makes a lot of sense too, actually, because then that's a team that's, possibly in contention. And if Tua can't get the job done, you'd have Jimmy Garoppolo sitting there ready to take over and has proven himself a capable quarterback. I think he's a starting level caliber quarterback in this league. So,
with Eric Weddle and obviously, Tyreek being there, I don't think Tua is the guy. I'm sorry. I don't see it happening. He's not Mr. Accurate. you can portray him however you want. I know that we're like island bros, like island guys, but you gotta go. I would say give Jimmy a shot. And if you think Jimmy Pornhub G was getting it done in San Francisco, Jimmy Pornhub G in Florida and Miami,
could be fun.
Look out!
He's not going to play well. He'll have no legs.
He's Lieutenant Dan.
He's got no legs. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting where he ends up. That's definitely a storyline that never got resolved, and we're coming up on the Hall of Fame game, and the week
surgery,
after that,
man.
Yeah,
he had that shoulder surgery.
He waited a long time
in March. Yeah, it was like March when he had it. So I mean, he was just cleared to do football activities.
Do you think he did that on purpose?
No,
I don't think it was on purpose. I think it was just took a while to figure it out what was going on with it specifically. And
I think it's timeline. I think it's more than that. I think he thought he was going to get traded like immediately, and then when it wasn't happening, I bet you his camp was trying to probably telling him like, hey, look, maybe we should get it done because at this point we're not really being taken highly. So we get this done and we can come back in time and do some throws and look good again. Maybe our stock will rise. So I bet you that was a camp thing.
Where do you guys think he's going to end up?
I'd love Miami. I would.
I think
if it's not Miami, I could also see him going to the Colts.
Be Matt Ryan's backup.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
I don't think they.
I don't think the Colts make sense. Especially because Matt
Ryan.
Ryan.
He's not going to New York.
No, I mean, he's not going. You know what? The Jets would make sense. I mean, the Giants make sense too because
the Giants declined what's his name's option.
Yeah,
he's agent after this year.
Yeah, because he's trashed. Daniel Jones, is that his name? Yeah. So I mean, they got to have an answer somewhere, and there are places that will work. And maybe the first preseason game, second preseason game, an injury happens, and that pushes somebody's forces somebody's hand, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
All right, where do you see him then, Sam?
I'm kind of hoping he ends up in Seattle just for the drama.
Yeah. You're just a messy bitch who loves drama. That's
exactly.
All.
I'm just looking for some beef.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this Thursday. Story. It doesn't mean anything. I'm just excited that it's here. I'm excited.
Who's playing?
Who is it? The Raiders, and I just know it's the Hall of Fame game.
Raiders and Rams?
Is it the Rams? I'm not
sure. Schedule, looking it up.
You'll have to look it up for me. I'm just excited that it's that time of year. Jacksonville. Oh God. I'm excited to see, the mess of Jacksonville, and that's the thing about sports, and the NFL does it, I think, better. Nobody does it better than the NFL. All the sports lines, we just talked about Jimmy and Debo. What's going to happen with the Colts with, Matt Ryan over there? The Raiders went all out, got a pass rusher, got a defensive back, added the biggest splash wide receiver. You can, Derek Carr's getting spicy with the media. It's not even it's still training camp, and he's already snapping on the media. So he's got an axe to grind, it's just going to be interesting how this all plays out. So I'm just excited for football season, man. All the drama is going to play out. So I hope to see Jimmy up, in Seattle.
All right. Yeah. I don't know where he ends up. I don't want Seattle, but
the drama
at this point, that one, that's the story that makes the most sense. It wouldn't happen through trade though. If they're able to make a trade, it'll be elsewhere. It won't be Seattle.
Do you think Jimmy G watches 4 hours of film a week?
Yeah.
At least.
Of porn. You didn't say what kind of film. He just watches film.
Hey, man, that's how he got the name of Jimmy Pornhub G, man. He did that one girl. I don't even know what her name was. She was like, we gonna be champions.
Almost were.
Porn star Jimmy.
Oh, Jesus.
Stephen A.
Yeah. Okay. I think we've beaten this topic to death at this point.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
We've beaten this
Porn
meat to
star Vinny.
we've beaten this meat to death, so let's move on.
This podcast is brought to you by Ejaculate, Beaten It to Death, and Pornhub.
Jesus.
And Viagra.
You know, call this one the sexy podcast. I don't know when we post it.
Watch
Jesus.
4-hour videos with the 4-hour erection.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Sorry, guys.
No, that's
I just
great.
had to.
It's great. The dynamite dropping. Okay. Just real quick, I just want to touch on one thing about the Sharks. They are going to be retiring Patrick Marleau's jersey on February 25th. Well, I mean, what do you mean finally? He just retired. So I mean,
they should have did it when he was still playing, dude.
They should have retired his
ripped
jersey
it off. Ripped the jersey off his back.
When he went to Toronto, they should have retired it then.
Well, you can't retire an active player's jersey because he might come back.
Damn it.
Didn't you learn that lesson with Jeffrey Jordan?
Yeah, but then he came back dumb as fuck.
Yeah, he had to wear 45 for a year and a half, man. No.
Yeah, but Marleau wasn't come back to be like the saving grace that like brings you back to the champions that we've never had. So
no, but I mean, but still, it doesn't. You can't retire an active player's jersey. But
besides, we all know Michael Jordan wasn't even the GOAT. It was Steve Kerr.
That's right. Steve Kerr told us. No. So yeah, Patrick Marleau, February 25th, 2023. There'll be a lot of tears in the house for that game. It's a Saturday night game, so you're gonna.
Not
be
that
able
Vince
to
has circled it already. Mm-hmm. It's a year out. It's not that he circled it or anything.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it's 6 months away. You know, it's fine. I can. It's not like I have little hearts on a calendar for February 2023 already around it saying Patty. You know.
When are they retiring Jumbos?
Jumbos will be after. Well, Jumbo has to officially retire first. He hasn't done that yet.
That's true.
So,
you can't retire an active player, dude. Do we got to do this again?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it makes sense for Patrick Marleau's jersey is going to be the first one the Sharks ever retire. No, yeah. So it makes sense that Mr. Shark is the first jersey that gets retired. He deserves a whole night to himself, so they're not gonna like shoehorn Joe Thornton's night into that too. Like both of those players deserve their own special nights, and there's no reason to put them both in to do both of them at the same time. So,
do you think that Brett Burns, when he's all said and done, do you think he'll get a jersey retirement? That's kind of tough, actually.
That's the borderline. I think that's the line. I don't know where I stand on that because, I mean, like obviously he put up fantastic numbers for his entire career, in San Jose, and I think it's gonna come down to, like who's in charge at the time when it's time to ask that question, and I think it might end up happening. I think you have to retire Jumbo, obviously. I think Pavelski deserves his number retired as well.
I think so too. Assistant manager, man. I believe so. I think you got to retire both the Joes.
Yeah.
I think Burns is probably on the outs. I really do.
I think Burns might end up getting it done. They haven't done it for Dan Boyle yet. So, I mean, Dan Boyle would be another one to possibly consider, but yeah. So, I mean, you got to think about guys that'll be in the Hall of Fame as well. So that's the other part. You want guys that are either going to be in the Hall of Fame or guys that are like right on that cusp. You don't want to do it for Dan Boyle was a great player and he was a lot of fun for several years, but I don't know that he's a Hall of Fame player, so that's kind of where I think you might have to draw the line.
I was thinking, Sam brings up how the Cardinals are, a decade team, meaning that like every decade they've produced some kind of great player. Doesn't mean they won all the time. They just produced a great player all the time.
Except they did win all the time.
I'm not like.
No, I know what you're saying, dude. I'm sorry. I know what you're saying.
But I feel like the Sharks are very in that same tune. Like they were competitive every year to the exception of like the last like 5 years, but
last 3 really.
Yeah. But I mean, so my point though is that like I think that you could pick a decade and there was always a name. Like that name was a big name, and the Sharks either drafted him or, in, Jumbo's case, they got him in a sweet trade deal that cost him like nothing. Yeah, I feel like the Sharks are, in a way, and we're talking about a small sample size here, but in a way like the Cardinals, like they produce a historic player every decade. Although in hockey, a player will play like 30, 40 years.
Yeah, guys.
Look at Yoman Yager.
Yeah, Yammer Yager. I was actually thinking about Mario Lemieux, who retired, made the Hall of Fame, got his jersey retired, and then came back and played another 3 years after that.
Wait. So what's the rules on that? He came back after a jersey.
It was. I think the rule is.
Wasn't he in the front office or something? Wasn't he like?
Yeah. And then he was like,
"I want to play."
I'm coming back. I'm coming. No, they were sucking, and he was like, "I'm coming back," and he went back. He
was retired because of his back. Right. And then, you take 3 years off, 4 years off, back starts feeling a bit better,
I can play. And then he played for what?
He
played
for
like
lace him up, babe.
3-4 more years.
3 more years after. Yeah. Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, good times.
Yager played till he was like almost.
Yager's 50? Still playing in freaking like Czechoslovakia or some shit
that,
like that. I don't know, man. He's
like 50 years old. I think when he went NHL, I think he was like 47, 48, somewhere around there.
Yeah, something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Congratulations, Patrick Marleau. I look forward to seeing it in person. And there we go.
Do we buy tickets to that game, Sam? Do we buy tickets and bring tissues for Vince?
I'll bring my own goddamn tissues. Thank you very much.
Mine are gonna have
fully stocked. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? That'd be a good game to go to. I wouldn't say no to getting tickets.
We're gonna basically just rely on Vince because our asses are gonna run late and then we won't be able to get a ticket because it's sold out.
Vince, do math.
Yeah, I'll work on it, boys, and I'll get back to you. Okay. So I think for the rest of this podcast, we're right near the trade deadline for Major League Baseball. So I think we should probably talk a little bit about what's gone down so far.
My Padres are going to win the World Series now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they got Josh Hader.
Start with that trade.
We got slightly racist Josh Hader now.
Yeah, I mean, dropping N bombs in old tweets like from when you were in high school, it's not a good look. And the news of that coming out while you're pitching in the All-Star game.
Yeah,
everyone's looking at their phone at the All-Star game in Milwaukee. I'm like, this is awkward.
Yeah. So I mean, so Josh Hader is going to San Diego. And obviously he's been pitching pretty well with the exception of like 2 games, but those 2 games were really, really bad. So his numbers are a little bit screwed up, like they're inflated.
Well, they're also still in contentions for Juan Soto, and tomorrow is the deadline. I think 1 o'clock
tomorrow at
1 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if the Padres get Juan Soto, now I'm really starting to like heat up and like they're probably gonna get really close to the Dodgers. The Dodgers aren't gonna make a move. They're locked in with what they got, and I don't think they need anything. Montas probably a pitcher at most, but even then they're locked in. I mean, even 1 through 4, I think they're on a 4 rotation here. They're pretty solid pitchers. You have to be your first place in the NL. So in the NL. So
yeah. So go ahead.
Padres championship. Calling it.
Weird way to say Mets, but okay.
What'd your Mets do?
Don't worry about it. The Mets will make their move, and they still have. Let's see, it's almost 7 o'clock local time. So I mean, they've got 18 hours. They're working on it. It's nothing. Fine. They're doing things. You'll see. The grand plan is falling into place. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about my team. Worry about your team. Okay. So there's the Josh Hader thing. Okay. The A's sent Frankie Montas and Lou Trevino to the New York Yankees. The Bronx Bastards take our top starting pitcher and our worst reliever. So I am not sad. I am not sad to see Trevino go. They probably could have gotten more for Montas, but I think the advantage of getting rid of Lou.
Sweet Lou.
Sweet Lou. That's the advantage of getting rid of him. Means that they had to take a little bit less in the prospect side. So they ended up getting, I think it was the like the 5th, the 19th, the 5th, the 20th, and like the 12th rated player on there in there.
They got the 5th,
Something.
they
What
got
was
the
it?
9th, and they have the 20th, and then Bowman, who was a 4th round pick last year.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's right, and that's all per Baseball America, like their
Yeah.
rankings, the Yankees farm
The
system
Yankees
rankings.
ranking. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. This isn't like MLB ranking or MLIB, MLM.
MILB. Yeah,
There you go.
minor league baseball.
Yeah,
So
exactly. There you go.
That first pitcher, I'm not going to say I know anything about him. I only know what I read, but apparently he's a pretty good pitcher. So
The biggest thing that is like Walchuk is a really good pitcher, and I think he's shown flashes of he's definitely could be not necessarily an ace, but a second guy in your rotation. Like he's a really good pitcher.
Yeah, I think they were saying
the other one.
I think they were saying like he's a a weaker one, but a really strong 2 type of guy. Yes.
The big piece in this trade is JP Sears. He's supposed to be the ace, and he was supposed to be the ace for the Yankees. So we'll see. I mean, we had AJ Puck, we had Shamanaya. Those were supposed to be aces when we traded for them, and we could argue on Shamanaya here and there, but it doesn't look like he's an ace in San Diego. So I wouldn't say he's an ace pitcher, in my opinion.
Right. Like I said, Lou Trevino was stinking up the joint real bad. I'm not sad to see him go. And I mean, when you're a maggot and you're pitching bad, you got to choose one. You can, if you're gonna be an asshole, at least play well. But he couldn't do that. So kick rocks forever. Have fun shaving your beard. Because the Yankees are gonna make you do that. Whatever. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
So in being an asshole, so you wanted him to be Wild Thing as a closer? That's what you wanted?
Yeah, that'd be great. If he
was
actually
not gonna be Wild Thing.
No, if he was a lock, he could throw hard. But if he was a lockdown type reliever, and just at that point I can shut up and deal with it. But when you're being a piece of shit on and off the field, kick rocks, buddy.
The A's have had one in the last 20 years, one pitcher that I can say that was Wild Thing. And
that was
just
Billy
one.
Koch.
No. Grant Balfour.
Oh yeah. No, Grant Balfour. That was fun. Those were fun years.
Those are excellent years.
Balfour Rage.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes.
They played the
That's
Metallica.
The be like, that's Wild Thing right there.
Yeah.
How
the bleachers.
funny is it though that his last name is literally Balfour?
More like strike 3.
Yeah, I think after that is what's his name? We shipped out to Chicago, who's struggling like crazy over there. I can't remember his name. Our starting pitcher for the wild card game / closer.
Liam Hendricks. Liam's been all right. I mean,
well, he was an all-star last year, right?
Yeah, he was an all-star last year. This year's been a little bit rougher, but I'm sure he'll figure it out.
Well, the White Sox looks like they regressed all the way around. Like they don't look very good at
they're
all.
like third or fourth.
Yeah, they're buried,
Terrible.
man. They're not doing nearly as well as anybody thought they would.
I think the time is it's time for Tony La Russa to stay retired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made that change at coach, and it's not really made sense. They're one game above 500. The thing is, though,
I think Tony was a guy that got a lot out of his teams, whatever baseball, sense that he had, like it seemed to work for a while. And I just think people have changed so much that it's unrelatable. Like, the game is changing, the bat flips and the entertainment of the game is changing, and people want to see it. Like American baseball is the only place where it's this stiff, and you're finally seeing the game evolve and have a little bit more fun. where, I mean, if you have a big dunk, it's not like, the other players are like, hey, you can't get excited like that. The crowd's going wild. If you crush a freaking 500-foot homer, hell yeah, pimp that.
Yeah,
you know
for
how
sure.
hard that
Well,
is?
Yeah.
Well, look at Yerman Mercedes and Tony La Russa. Like, you literally Michael Jordan's his career for him. Now he's with the
Exactly.
Giants. You
But
know
I
what
mean, you get these pitchers that strike dudes out. They strike out the side. They're a power pitcher, and they're, you had what's his name doing the splits, the Texas Rangers dude, literally doing the splits on the mound.
Fuck, who was that?
Uga Thurbina.
Yeah.
He was doing the splits after a third out. He would strike fools out and do the splits.
Well, I mean, think of
people
what's
fist
his-
pumping. Dennis
Well, Rodney.
Eckersley would, point at people, go sit down, so
Yeah.
it's in it. I'm okay with a pitcher doing it. Like, if you're a badass pitcher, you're Randy Johnson. You know what? I don't care what you do, and you're striking 10, 12, 13 guys out in a game. Do what celebrate. If a dude ropes a homer, celebrate.
The wild thing about the White Sox right now, though, they're 51-50. They're one game above 500. But they're also only 2 games back of the Twins, because the Twins are not running away with this thing. They're 4-6 in their last 10.
But to be fair,
so,
the Twins shouldn't even be there. That's
exactly.
The most
yeah. The Twins, maybe they're starting to come back to earth a little bit. The Guardians are 52-49. We talked about them recently
too.
Yeah, I mean, and they're on an upswing on their Moneyball trajectory right now. But even they're spending more money than the A's. So yeah, I mean, the White Sox are not exactly out of it, man. So maybe they're going to make a move or two. We'll see. There's still 18 hours to go. Another big trade that happened is Trey Mancini going from Baltimore to Houston. It's going to break my heart when I have to boo his ass, I'm gonna feel bad when I do it. I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna boo him when I'm, if I was in the stands. I don't know if I'm gonna actually go to a game yet still, but I'm gonna feel bad about it, because as a human being, Trey Mancini's been through a lot and he's overcome a lot, and he's just a good dude. But of course, now he's on the Astros, so fuck him. No, seriously though, I do appreciate him and all that he went through with cancer, battling back, and all of that stuff. So
absolutely,
I really wanted him to be on the Giants, Trey Mancini, for my own personal youth of growing up, selfish needs. Can you imagine the Mancini sleep train commercials that would be appearing because of Trey Mancini being on the team? I just think of what would be a cool way to advertise a guy who's in your area? Oh, yeah, that'd be sweet, right? A Mancini fucking mattress firm. Yeah, I'd be all in. Are they even around? Is Mancini mattresses still around? Is that thing
Mancini's is sleep train's gone?
No.
Oh, okay. Mancini's Sleep World is what it's called.
Yeah, they're still
right.
around.
Yeah,
perfect advertising. Perfect. Yeah. Ohtani has officially been also ruled off the table, so they're going to hold on to him for another year. Still think the Giants make a play for him next year.
In the offseason.
Trade deadline. Yeah, offseason would be great. It's probably be a trade deadline, to be honest with you. I think the Angels are going to play.
You get more out of teams when you're in the trade deadline versus offseason, I think, by and large. Obviously, there's exceptions to that rule, but generally speaking, teams get a little desperate. They see they're, in it, or their window's open when they didn't think it would be, or the window is closing, but they still have a shot at it this year. So teams get desperate. Teams start paying a little bit more. We'll see.
Still want it, man. I want it. I want to see players in San Francisco because the A's won't make it happen. So I just want to see it.
Of course. Yeah.
Let me see Aaron Judge pimp one out into the McCovey Cove. Let me see.
They're definitely not trading him this year.
Yeah, not this year.
No, yeah. I mean,
that might be an off season.
Well,
it might be an off season.
I finally have a chance to troll some Yankees fans a little bit, just a little bit. Just saying little things like, "Oh, this is a hell of a final season for Aaron Judge and pinstripes." Little things like that, little digs.
Is he at 43 or 44, something like that for the year?
I lost. Yeah, I lost count. I was trolling when he was at 41, so that was a couple days ago. I haven't had a chance to go back in and twist the knife in a little bit more since. So
I remember years back going to like an A's Giants game, obviously Battle of the Bay, and it was in San Francisco. I didn't really get tickets, so I got to chill out underneath over in left field in that little fence area where you can like stand.
Oh,
like
right field.
minutes.
Yeah. Right field.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it is
yeah, it's right
field.
field.
You're right. And so I just remember standing there, and like one of the friends I was with was arguing with someone who was a A's fan, and he was a Giants fan, and they kept going back and forth. And this like random dude, it just comes out of complete left field with us. He was like, hey. But like, fuck the Yankees though, right? And we was like, yeah, definitely fuck the Yankees. So, man, good times. Tuesday is our trade deadline, so hopefully, we'll have some breaking news that we'll break on the Twitter page if it's worth note. I'm sure Vince will be all over it anyway. So,
yeah,
50 likes. 50 likes.
Yep.
And give you 2
we're
weeks.
Yeah. So 1 week is down. I'm gonna keep retweeting it because, I want to see. I want to see Tyler pick a defense just as much as the next guy. So please make it happen. Tyler's putting his thumb down. He's asking for Brandon Ayuk. You know what? Why don't you ask for somebody who's like really good, man? You don't know. You never know.
If I'm higher up, then yeah, but I don't think I feel like the roll of the dice is not with me. The heart of the cards, whatever your euphemism is for it all, it's not happening. I'm going to lose. So let's lose with fun.
All right, that sounds great. So on that note, I think it's time to wrap this bad boy up like a beautiful little present on Christmas. We're gonna wrap this up. Give it to
kids.
the people.
Kids.
All right.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
So here we go. You can find us on social media, SVT Sports Pod on Instagram and Twitter. If you have questions, comments, send us an email, svtsportspod@gmail.com. Please slide into our DMs. Make it real sexy since this is the sexy episode, apparently.
Is it?
It's kind of gross. No, please don't.
All right, guys. You guys have a great night. Again, Tim, thank you so much for coming on board with us. I hope to do big things with you. So, again, that's not a sexy podcast euphemism.
Giggity.
I'm just saying, Anyways, you gentlemen, everyone, have a great night. We'll talk next week.
Sounds great. Later, guys.
Peace out, guys.
Later, guys.